Jaguars have had the Colts number in this series.
Fires deep downfield. Got a man. That's Brian Thomas Jr. 50 into Colts territory. 35, 30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr. just went 85 yards. How good is that? He gets hit. The ball comes out. The ball is out. The Jags are trying to pick it up. Josh Hines picks it up. He runs it back to the 10-yard line.
I think they need to go back and look at 5 or 6 clips of Fred Taylor running the ball for the Jaguars. Then go get 4 or 5 clips of Maurice Jones-Drew. And let's get fired up about running the ball.
They run it with Bigsby to the middle of the field. There's a big hole. Broke a tackle. Got it to the 10. He's still grinding. He's still on his feet. He's into the end zone. Touchdown. What a run by Tank Bigsby. And the Jags have extended the lead. They toss it to the left for Tank. He cuts it back to the middle of the field. That's good running. Tank Bigsby into the open field. 45, 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Tank Bigsby has exploded for another score. 65 yards. How good is that? And the Jags extend the lead.
Hey, great job, man. Halftime. One more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. That still hit pretty good on a Tuesday morning, Tone. It still feels nice. Victory week will continue because, heck, we don't know how many more we'll get. So let's enjoy it while we've got it. Good morning, everybody. It is a Check the Tape Tuesday. Happy birthday to Brian Thomas Jr.
Yes, sir. 22 years young.
Oh, to be 22 years young and to have 4.3 speed or whatever it is exactly. But
it's as fast as he needs it.
Fast enough that nobody's catching him from behind logs.
Morning.
If he gets a step, good morning. How are things with your property?
There's been a lot of trees down, but, the buildings are good. Still hoping for power at some point. But
still out of power, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people up there in middle rural Georgia that just don't have power yet. I mean, it might be still a week or two, and now with what we're about to face, you kind of worry about the resources getting diverted somewhere else where other people up there, are not going to get, the quick kind of response that they would normally get. But it's unfortunate, but, I'm all good. Trust me, I'm good. I'm not complaining.
Right. We hope for the best. I'm the one who asked. We just hope for the best for everybody still affected and pay heed to the warnings about the one that's coming right now. Logs.
I can tell you that the one that went through Georgia had, ballpark, 115-mile-an-hour winds.
Mm-hmm.
And that place got wiped. I mean, wiped with 115-mile-an-hour winds. And I don't know what this one's forecast to do, but the reports are right now that thing is, in the high 100s.
Like 175, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's
come down a little bit. Yeah, it's at 145. They're showing it on the news right now.
Still
it got up to a 5 and it was real tight, but they were like, it's going to come down a little bit, but they're not sure exactly what that's going to look like.
And let's, and the other thing too is that, for all those people that are kind of waiting and sitting there going, well, what should I do? Because they might be in an area that could be in danger. Use Helene as kind of a lesson.
Yeah.
And that, look, they didn't get the track on that right.
No.
And a lot of people ended up getting, I don't want to say surprised, but I mean, they didn't expect what they got.
Right.
And you don't want to be in that position. So if you're kind of on that borderline,
today's the day to move.
Caution is the better way.
I think there are a lot of people, based on how slow going it is, going 95 north from St. Augustine already, and with no accidents.
Well, you came up from that way, and yesterday it was bad.
Yesterday it wasn't so bad.
I went down to Bunnell to meet my father-in-law down there, and 95 was, maybe 30 miles per hour headed north.
Yeah, coming in the morning was fine.
Yeah.
I could see it on the way home, how slow it was on the other side. And it was like, there was an extra 30 minutes this morning.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, just to adjust accordingly. All right, well, Jags will be in London, and hopefully safe travels over there. Get out of town, and don't know how the logistics, all that's going to work either. Supposed to travel on Thursday night.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's going to be real interesting. I mean, there's a lot of people, but players, coaches, staff, and
equipment, all the stuff that goes with it, right? The whole operation.
And you're talking about, people that have families. And so, for a 22-year-old who's here in town by himself, it's a football player, to pack up and leave, no big deal.
Right.
But there's guys that got wife and kids and staff members that have wives and kids and families. And so not an easy situation to be in if you're, part of that traveling crew, which, I am a part of that as well. And so, I think a lot of them are like me, what are we going to do? You don't want to just get on an airplane and wave goodbye to your family, So this is a situation that's very unique, and I think because of it, I would like to see the NFL, if there's a Florida team that has to travel over the pond, they should wait until November to do it.
That's a good thought. I think the Jags probably like doing it earlier in the season, but I know what you're saying. Anything could happen at any given time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right. You really don't. All right. So today, let's focus on what went down this Sunday, and we'll do a little look ahead later on to the Chicago Bears. But, Jeff, let's just start with the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, playing on his 25th birthday. Was not good the week before. Was very good. Maybe his best performance he's had, and certainly in the regular season. 371, pair of touchdowns. He did throw the one interception, but I thought overall he was decisive. He was accurate, played aggressive, had good pocket awareness. Not that I thought the offensive line gave him good protection, but just give us your thoughts on the performance for Trevor Lawrence this week.
I thought it was his best game as a pro, and mainly because of the situation. You're 0-4, you're coming back home, you haven't been playing well. It's a team that you got to have patience with as a passer. He had one bad decision in that game. One bad decision, which was the interception, and he tried to force the ball down the field when he had an open Christian Kirk at about 15 yards, that if he'd had a little bit of patience on that, it would have been an outstanding play by him. But just the way that he distributed the ball, the way that he was on target, the way that he had patience, the way that he operated in the pocket, which, by the way, was really good. Credit to the offensive line. I think it was his best game as a pro because, there's a lot of pressure on him. And even though that he handles it and seems to handle it very well at the podium, internally you got to be able to be pressing a little bit. And as a pro, sometimes that's hard to have patience in a moment like that, and he did. So credit to him.
I think they're a football team that we're still looking to see what the answer is going to be on 3rd and 4th and 1 and exactly how, routine that can become for him. But certainly the last couple of weeks, the offensive line has been way better than it was the first 3 weeks of the season. What has changed, if anything, that has allowed them to have that success up front?
I think they're finishing better. I think first and foremost. And this offensive line in the first couple of weeks, you had performances that just weren't very good. And then as a whole, they weren't finishing. I don't know what changed, but the last 2 games, they're finishing, they're strong, they're giving Trevor good protection. My player of the game was Ezra Cleveland. Right there with Trevor Lawrence.
On that tank run, my goodness.
But it was more than that.
Yeah.
The way that he finished the entire game and the way that he's been finishing has been really good. Mitch Morse and him, I think, are the 2 best offensive linemen. But Ezra Cleveland in the last 2 weeks has really elevated his game to the level that I remember last year, and you guys remember me saying that this guy is really good. He finishes. He's got a little nasty to him. And then he had the position switch for the Cleveland game last year, got hurt, and then was never the same. I'm seeing the Ezra Cleveland that I saw before that injury, and it's really good to see. The offensive line had a really, really good game against, kind of a subpar defensive line, and that's what, you expect. I mean, it's not like they have a lot of great pass rushers, but look, 90's a really good player for them, and 97's a good young player for them, and they just shut them down.
All right, well, we'll get into a lot of the good things, and a bunch of them did happen. Brian Thomas Jr.'s ascension continues. Tank Bigsby was spectacular. There are probably even a few good things on defense. Trayvon Walker at the top of the list for this week, but a lot of questions about the back end of that defense. If you want to get in with your questions today for Jeff Lageman on this Check the Tape Tuesday, or your comments for that matter, keep them reasonably brief. We'll take your calls on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines at 641-1010. Same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hit us up on social media this morning at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Logs56, and at 1010XL Denmark.
But you never like to see Cantori that close.
You don't. That's a good point by Hacker right there. Good morning, young Denmark. How are you?
I'm good, man. We're just chilling.
Everything good? So what's the story for high school football? Are you already wiped for the week? Or you?
Yeah, pretty much last day today, and then we can't do anything on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Is that the same for everybody, Tom?
No, Bowles is playing tonight. Bowles and Andrew Jackson, 6:30 tonight over there at Jackson.
And you'll have the call?
I'll have the call.
All right, excellent. All right, so you've got that on your plate out there today. We've got a Jaguar victory to dissect, the good and the bad, with Jeff Lageman here. So send us your questions, comments, and we'll discuss the latest from the Jags, and can they use this as a catapult to propel themselves to maybe a little winning streak over across the pond. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark here with you. This is Jaguars Today on a Check the Tape Tuesday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. It's all about picking winners.
Yes, it is.
Make the best picks and win a pizza party from Salvatore's Pizza at Tapestry Park.
Who wants pepperoni?
The 1010 Weekly Pick'em Contest is brought to you by MyBookie. You pick 'em at 1010XL.com.
When you're behind the wheel of your car, you expect a safe journey. But what if the other driver's careless and you're injured? The responsibilities and demands on your spouse just doubled. You suddenly can't work. So what happens to your family's income? And by now, the emergency room and medical bills may be sitting on your kitchen counter. You've got some problems, and we want to hear about them. Call us at 396-5555. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979. Office, Jacksonville.
Now, the Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
In the game's final moments, the Young Guns would show their Mamba mentality with the help of their QB and rookie kicker. Thanks to an 8-play sequence capped off by a Cam Little 49-yard field goal, Jacksonville would take a 3-point lead with 17 seconds left in regulation. The 39-yard drive is your Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Guys, don't suffer through this season with prostate, bladder, or kidney issues. Ackerman Urology has 4 convenient locations with advanced urological care to improve your health and vitality. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Bet live with Hard Rock Bet. Real-time wagering till the very last play. Missing the kickoff doesn't mean all bets are off.
Delay a game on the guy who hasn't bet yet.
Sometimes you just know your team is going to come back. There's sportsbook for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation, with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
It's all about the beautiful game, the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour. From national teams to youth soccer on the First Coast, join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk, Tuesday at 6 p.m. on 1010 a.m.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
City AC, heating that rules.
Is your AC ready for the holidays? Bold City Heating and Air ensures your AC stays in tip-top shape. We know that a clean AC is a healthy AC. Upgrade yours for just $96 a month and enjoy free duct cleanings with your new system. Plus, ask about our 0% financing options.
Bold City AC, we got the crew. Bold City AC.
Visit boldcityac.com.
Denny Thompson here. They're still growing. Tyson Sound and Security is looking to hire a master electrician. Are you or someone you know a master electrician with residential experience? Candidate will start at the industry's most competitive pay. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call to apply 762-1000. Tyson Sound and Security hiring a master electrician offering top-notch industry pay. Call to apply 762-1000. Equal opportunity employee.
Pick it here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Hayes Carline here. If you're like me in the fall, you want to watch football, not clean. Enter Molly Maid, voted Bold City Best Cleaning Service 3 years in a row. Molly Maid is reliable, friendly, and thorough. Visit mollymaid.com.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Don't be sidelined from an injury that keeps you out of the game. Get the care the pros receive. Now available at Injury Care Centers, newly FDA regenerative treatments that will significantly shorten your recovery time. Sprains, strains, fractures, post-op surgeries, cut your recovery time in half or shorter. Masking pain just makes it worse. Fix it now. Call 904-783-0008. That's 904-783-0008. Injury care starts at Injury Care Centers.
Mark Watson here to tell you a little bit about hardballcreative.com. It's your online promo haven with thousands of ideas on how to promote your company. We're open 24/7, 365.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all. 1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, it is a Check the Tape Tuesday, and we'll be boring down on all the Jaguar issues, good and bad, coming out of this week's game. But this, moments ago, Adam Schefter tweeting out the Jets informed Robert Saleh of the decision to fire him. A few minutes ago, there will be a new head coach for Monday night's game versus Buffalo. Your thoughts, Logs, on Saleh getting the ouster after the Jets losing in London?
First of all, shock. Second of all, I guess the lack of the hug meant a lot more than we thought.
My goodness.
But that's ridiculous. I mean, that's a sign of a franchise that does not know what it's doing. You gain nothing by firing a coach at this point of the season. Nothing. What a shame. And especially, how many wins have they got?
They're 2-3.
2-3.
What are you doing? I mean, what? The only thing that I can think of with that is that's Aaron Rodgers driven somehow. And somebody's buying the Aaron Rodgers. I mean, because look.
I don't think it happens without his sign-off at the minimum.
You're dead on.
At the minimum.
You're dead on.
So
Tony, this guy who may be here for 12 more games in the history of our franchise. Right? Like, how much longer is Rodgers there?
But that's the mindset and the psyche of the Jets. I mean, you know, Logs, for a year, I mean, they're just they're desperate for any kind of level of success.
Yeah.
And so they put all their chips in on this season to some degree. Didn't figure out that they needed to give Hassan Reddick a contract to get him on the field. But that aside, I mean, they're all wrapped up in a 40-year-old quarterback.
The only thing that I think that would be better for as far as like a sign of dysfunction would be to name Nate Hackett the interim head coach.
Oh, my God. I mean, that would be.
And I like Nate. Don't get me wrong.
Right,
He's
but
a very
around
good
the league,
offensive coach.
That would be, well.
Robert Saleh just got fired because the offense stinks. Right? Like, that's.
I'm with you. And, I mean, Sean Payton called him one of the worst coaches in the league.
Well, their defense is not playing very well either.
Not up to the level they're usually at. Yeah.
And that's been one of the biggest surprises with the Jets this year is that, I mean, everybody expected the Jets to be a top 5 defense. Far from it.
I would say, Tony, with Rodgers probably orchestrating this, is my guess that this is probably not the way it's going to go, but maybe he's got Breece Hall on his fantasy team and he wants to get the guy going. Come on, Breece. What in the world is going on?
And wouldn't it just be the Jets that they do this and then in 15 minutes announce that they've traded for Devontae Adams? Like
maybe Salah wasn't on board with. Who knows?
So
man?
Jets.
It'll all come out.
Yeah.
It'll all come out. But no, they're going to try to trade for Devontae Adams. There's no question about it.
And Aaron Rodgers wants that too. I promise you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, that's what's going on with them. It's not going on with us at the moment, although there were Jag fans calling for it over the last couple of weeks. Logs, here is a frequent question that we're getting, or a frequent topic. Safety play, secondary, can we cover anybody? What's going on with the safeties? Did Andre Sisco get too big this offseason? We thought he was a big play guy. We thought it would be for us, not the other team. These are all questions that have come in just this morning on the secondary.
Sure.
So, I mean, look, there's no denying Joe Flacco just picked them apart with big plays, particularly in the fourth quarter. What do you make of it?
Yeah, what happened with Alec Pierce at the end of the ball game is inexcusable. But I don't put all that on Andre Sisco at all. I've got a lot of questions that I don't know the answers to be honest with you, about some of the coverages that they were playing, because watching the film, it's very hard and difficult to understand what they're trying to accomplish, because at that stage of a game, you almost want to have a two-deep safety look all the time. I mean, you're playing with a two-possession lead.
Yeah.
And at times it looked like that we were not playing a two-deep safety. And then at times it looked like maybe we were, but then Sisco was the one who was in one half and there wasn't one on the other side. And I'm going, is that cover 2 or is that cover 1 with Sisco supposed to be in the middle? Can't figure it out. But I can tell you this. There's got to be, if I'm Doug Peterson, I'm going to have a lot of questions for Ryan Nielsen about this performance, especially at the end of the ball game. I mean, Alec Pierce to be able to do what he did, and for the Jaguars defense to be in a look that didn't have a safety's back, kind of keep everything in front look, was very surprising to me. Didn't understand it.
What should, in your mind, be the first thing that gets addressed with the issues they're having on the back end right now? They haven't been as glaring as they were necessarily this week. They popped up a little bit against Houston, but that happens against Nico. He makes plays,
yeah,
right?
He's a great player.
Like that kind of thing happens. But what do you think should be the first step towards trying to get something fixed back there?
Well, I think first and foremost is, number one, you take a look, as far as the coaching staff, one, you look at what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Number one, and number two, you look at your messaging and also how you're teaching it. I mean, obviously, first of all, are you doing the right thing, number one? Number two, are you getting the performance at doing the right thing? And those got to be answered, and they've got to be investigated. They've got to be looked at and looked at hard. And I think they will do that. You know, this defense is very aggressive, but at that point in the ball game, you can't be aggressive. You've got to be. I don't want to say passive, because I mean passive's not the right word, because you're just playing a different type of coverage. And for them to allow that, I mean, first of all, the one catch that Alec Pierce had where he tapped it to himself and goes down.
Good coverage.
It's great play.
Made a play.
Great play. But when you've got him running open and you've got a defender that's 5 or 6 or 7 yards behind.
Inexplicable. Yeah.
What the hell's going on? You know, that can't happen.
By the way, Jeff Ulbrich will apparently be the interim head coach for the New York Jets.
And the thing that I understand, and I misspoke there, when I said about the defense, I mean, Robert Saleh's a defensive-minded coach.
Yes.
I mean, their defense is still rated up near the top as far as like yards allowed, points allowed. They're not quite as high as they are as far as yards allowed, but what are you doing? I mean, that's got to be something with the quarterback.
Of course.
I can't imagine it being anything else.
And I think if we look at it objectively, we know they basically handed the franchise to Aaron Rodgers. Whatever you want for the next year or two for however long you can play, because we don't have any other options. We're putting it in your hands, Hall of Famer. Go play like a Hall of Famer. Well, he didn't play like a Hall of Famer in a couple of years. Didn't play at all basically last year. The year before was just okay. Wasn't, and then the year before that was MVP level, obviously. But so
the Jets play this weekend?
Buffalo, Monday night, right?
Yep. That's wild.
So
you're going to play that game on a standalone.
That's for first
everybody
place, by the way,
see.
In the division. Bills are 3-2. Jets are in second place at 2-3. And,
here we go.
What a mess.
I'll be watching.
Oh, yeah. It'll be even higher ratings than what it was going to be.
Regardless, man.
The ratings will be through the roof.
Lux, I feel like Monteric Brown was getting some praise for a couple weeks for how he was playing.
Yeah, he was playing well.
How did he do this week?
I thought he was okay.
Okay.
I thought he was okay. The biggest question that I have as far as the Jaguars defensively, because look, I think Monteric Brown is a good young player. Is he a great young player? Not there yet. Is he going to get there? I don't know. Maybe playing hard. I think the safety play right now is one of the biggest questions right now with this defense. And then you had a little bit of injury. Antonio Johnson got hurt in the game. If you remember, he kind of came out, and then they were moving some guys around. Darnell Savage moved to safety, and then they ended up putting Jarian Jones in at nickel. So they're playing a little bit of merry-go-round there, and then they've been playing without Tyson Campbell. So,
right.
I mean, there's a little bit of a concern, because you've had some injuries, but at the same token, you got to be clean, And look, if you look at that ball game, when you look at what the Colts did, they kind of screwed some things up too, So you're wondering how can that happen with both teams screwing up that much in a ball game?
When you say screwed some things up, what do you mean?
Well, like
the Colts,
as far as the Colts, like the Brian Thomas touchdown.
Yeah, the guy bites up.
Yeah, it's a 3 deep zone, and the corner bites up on the shallow guy, and then and I guess maybe he thought that he had the speed to cover Brian Thomas Jr. But when you got a wide receiver that runs 22.15 miles per hour, fastest time speed,
right,
and it doesn't even look like he turned it all the way on. It looked easy.
He did at the very end.
Yeah,
he did at the very end to where, and that's partly the point where he reached the NFL high, which was again 22.15 miles per hour. When the guy was kind of. He had one guy chasing him, the guy that blew the coverage, and I can't remember
the angle. Had like half
an angle. And he dove, right? Yeah. And then they had the safety kind of at the angle, and then Brian literally just turns it up just a little bit, just, when he realizes that, well, he's got a little bit of an angle on, so I better just make, let me put it in one step higher gear.
An insane athlete.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I made this comment last week in one of our meetings, and Vaselli was giving me crap, which was great. And I said, he might be the best deep ball wide receiver since Jimmy Smith. If you were like redrafting, this wide receiver group, and you saying, okay, I want a deep ball wide receiver, and the best wide receiver or deep ball wide receiver in Jaguars history, Jimmy's right at the top, and nobody's going to replace him, right?
Yeah.
Who would you put next? For me, just the way that Brian is so effortless and how fast he is, and I understand it's only a small sample of games. But if I were drafting, out of Jaguar history, okay, and I get it, it's a short sample. But name me another guy that's been able to do what he's doing.
The short sample only encourages the argument.
Right.
We've only seen it for a month, and we're already like, holy crap.
5 weeks ago, I would have said Allen Robinson, though.
Yeah.
Just it did it in a different way. He wasn't necessarily just going to streak past
50-50 ball kind of guy.
But he was effective doing it.
Very effective.
So that's who I would have said then. Let's continue to look at this secondary, though. How's Ronald Darby playing? Just
and not a good enough You need him to play better.
Okay, what about Jarian Jones?
He's young. He's getting better. I like the way he plays. He plays hard. You can tell that he's a little banged up. 2 weeks ago in Houston, he had the shoulder from the week before. Wasn't willing to kind of stick his nose in there on some things, which, look, I get it. If you're hurt, you're hurt. But I feel good about him. I think he's going to be fine. But again, he's a young player that's learning, and there are going to be bumps in the road.
I was very happy to see him make the play when he did on that last drive. They needed it after the field goal to end the game, basically, to allow Trayvon Walker to close it out, on the next play. But Jarian made the play on the play before that, and who knows what happens in the chaos of what the Colts were doing if he doesn't make that play. It's the only one he really made all day, but they needed it in the worst kind of way.
He made it when you needed to have it. I like him. I think he's competitive. I think he's one of those guys that you like to have in the room because he's focused. He's about ball. He takes it serious. He plays hard. He's got skills. I like him. Again, Darby was kind of as a stopgap guy, and there's a reason why Darby's been available so many times throughout his career.
So if you're going to work, like Scott asks on X or Twitter, what would you do to fix or improve the secondary? I mean, your personnel for the moment is who they are.
Number one, I'd give them more pass rush. I don't know how I'm going to do that, though.
Right. I mean, you can't just snap your face. Is there something, would you run, like, less aggressive schemes like you were talking about? I know in certain situations you would, but, I mean, when you see these big plays being had and you're Jeff Lageman going into the film session and you're going to point out what we're going to do differently this week, what would that be?
Yeah, first of all, you got to get individuals to play better within the scheme, no matter what the scheme is. I mean, the scheme is the scheme. Are there moments where you can help the defense with scheme? Absolutely. I don't know. Like I said, again, I don't know what the scheme was at the end. I'm a little bit baffled by what they were trying to accomplish down there at the end. But there's a handful of coverages that teams play in this league. Okay, and it's not like anybody has this masterful secret of, I've got a coverage that nobody else can play. It's how you can put the individuals in the best position to succeed. And if you know your personnel, which is still somewhat of an ongoing process with this football team because you're learning more about players as you go through the season. You thought you might know about players in preseason, but you never really truly know until you get them in a game. And so the more game time you get with these guys, the more you can kind of, I would say, direct the players into the right situation of success that they can succeed in. So I think that will happen naturally with Ryan Nielsen the more games that they play, but the individuals still got to play better, and I think getting healthy is part of that.
All right, check Tape Tuesday. Jeff Lageman's in studio with us. Keep those questions coming via social media, via the text line, via the Garber Automall phone lines, whatever you want to do at 641-1010, and we'll continue to dissect where the Jags stand now, picking up their first win of the season to improve to a lowly 1-4, but it beats 0-5. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Do the Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle with lifetime warranty, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Best price, best payment, best trade-in value, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. With a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there is always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Chelsea here. Florida homeowners, are your windows working as hard as they should? With Renewal by Anderson, our energy-efficient custom windows and doors help keep the cool air in during those scorching months. That means lower energy bills and a more comfortable home year-round. For the month of October, Renewal by Anderson has a limited time offer. Buy 4 windows and or patio doors and get the 5th one free. Some restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com for all the details. That's bestwindowsflorida.com. License number CGC 1527613.
Are you an experienced plumber or welder with MedGas certification and you're tired of being undervalued? It's time to make the move to local 234 plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. With the best pay in the business, you'll earn $36.50 an hour. With benefits, that's almost $50. It's not just a job, it's a career that values you. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists congratulating this week's high school scholar athlete, Lauren Hutton, senior swimmer at Fletcher High. Lauren is the varsity captain of the swim team and is a member of the National and French Honor Societies. Congratulations, Lauren.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 2854-LAW. 2854-LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
When pests invade your space, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, we show up for you and eliminate pests quicker. Because we care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so do we. Don't live with a pest problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass, and he told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
There's nothing like a perfect cigar shared among friends. On October 12th from 1 to 4 p.m., join us at Tobacco Co. for an unforgettable Aganorsa Leaf event. Meet the man behind the brand, Terrence Riley. There will be tasty food, great prizes, and exclusive deals on Aganorsa Leaf cigars. It's all happening at 3849 Bay Meadows Road. Come for the cigars, stay for the experience at Tobacco Co.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and I speak for everyone here at 1010XL when I say congratulations, Hacker. 100 pounds lost with Awaken 180 is a huge milestone, and we are so proud of you. Life-changing, life-enhancing. Awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Dr. Turner Vossler, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Numerous Jaguars had their season-best game on Sunday against the Colts. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson on the stars of the team stepping up.
Our best players, the elites who stepped up, in crucial moments and made the plays that helped us win that football game, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take that just week in and week out, because I shared with the team, we've been in 4 one-score games, so it's going to come down to the last 4, 5, 6 minutes of a football game, and that's when you need those best players, right? Your best players to really step up.
Doug Peterson on Monday. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, we continue along a Check the Tape Tuesday. Jeff Lageman in studio with us. Jags win at 37-34 over the Indianapolis Colts and prepare to go to London for a couple of weeks to take on the Bears and the Patriots. Logs, of course, Trayvon Walker finished each half with a big play, had the strip sack that Josh Allen recovered, led to a field goal with a few seconds left in half number one, and then a 17-yard sack of Flacco. Despite the wheels he showed earlier in the game, Flacco could not outrun number 44. So 3 sacks in all, some heavy pressures.
Yeah.
Right.
Set up the Allen sack, was sacking Flacco on another one when he threw it away. It was an unbelievable day.
So a question basically, did Walker do something different than he typically does to have the pass rush success that he had, or did it come down to a good matchup, or what?
I think a good matchup, number one, with a right tackle that has been struggling the week before. Braden Smith was really struggling, and Trayvon did a good job of kind of mixing up the power and then working the edges a little bit. And Trayvon's just so strong, and he really overpowered Braden Smith for the most part in the game. And, I mean, when you saw that Trayvon went away from the power, Braden Smith was literally hunkered down expecting the power move. So a good job by Trayvon. He worked the edges when he needed to. I still believe that he's got the ability to be so much better if he would continue to have the power, but finding other ways to keep him off balance without power.
You mentioned in the last segment the interior of the defensive line and that it's been a disappointment to this point this year. Who has been the bigger disappointment through their first 5 games as a Jag? Eric Armstead or Gabe Davis?
Well, I would say probably, I mean, if you're only picking those two, obviously Gabe, just because he had a full training camp, you know, and so you're kind of expecting him to kind of hit the ground a little bit better. But I still think that he's got an excellent skill set that's going to work for this football team. And for whatever reason, it hasn't worked yet, but I believe that it will, just because, I mean, he's got the work ethic and the personality that will work. You know what I mean? And Eric Armstead, I wish that they would play him more as a 3 technique, as a defensive tackle than an edge player, because, you know, the reality is this. When he's playing edge, he's an average edge player right now at best. When he's inside, and historically when he's been inside, he has been way above average. Not quite understanding of why he's playing more edge than he is more interior.
Yeah, I mean, the word is that he's said when he signed here he wanted to play edge, and I feel that this has just kind of come out as we've gotten closer to the season. We heard more and more, they want to use him at edge as well. But yeah, I'm like you though, thinking, okay, he'll line up as a 3 technique, and then there'll be packages where he's outside. Maybe they flip him with Trayvon, depending on the matchups and things like that.
What does he unleash for the other 2 guys on the outside if he's playing at tackle? Right? Like, that was the idea when they signed him. I was like, this is fun. Right? They finally get a guy that plays above everybody at that position to help a couple guys that we just saw have the best years of their careers. What is that going to unlock for these guys going forward? And instead, a couple weeks before their season, they're talking about him like an edge. I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. And they're getting no impact from him while he's doing it right now.
The whole kind of premise of an edge is built up in the name itself, edge, right? I mean, you're attacking the edge, and you attack edge with speed to threaten the edge, and that's not really what Eric has. I mean, he's not a speed guy that can threaten the edge. And so I don't know. I mean, maybe it's going to work. You know, maybe he's going to get better. He's working his way back. But right now, I think he's playing a little bit out of position.
So among the defensive tackles, from what you see, who is playing well? And are they, somebody asked, same thing about Roy Robertson Harris. Are they lining him up on the edge?
They are.
Too much for your what do you make of it?
Well, they really Who else are going to line up for edge? I mean, Miles Cole is really the only other true edge player that I look at as far as body type and abilities that can play.
They play around with Yasir a little bit there, but not much.
Yeah, and he's kind of one of those hybrid. He's a linebacker / edge guy. But I don't. The defensive tackles who are playing well. I mean, nobody.
Right. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, there's not one guy that's so. For example, whether you put in there 52 or 90 or 99 or whoever, there's not really any change of performance, and that's kind of why you can see that they're constantly changing and mixing and matching guys that of playing time. The one guy that we haven't seen yet that hasn't gotten really an opportunity has been Jordan Jefferson. I would like to see him active at some point to see what he can do, just because, everybody else just kind of been
Are you hearing anything about him? Like he's just, it's just like out of sight, out of mind.
He had the ankle in training camp, and that slowed him up a lot. But, he's the most powerful guy that they have inside. Is he still not a pro and figuring things out? I don't know the answer to that, but I'd like to see him given an opportunity at some point, because right now the other guys right now there's really nobody standing out to where you say, okay, you know what, we're going to play him because he's playing well. They're playing okay, but look, you're not trying to get okay out of guys. If you consider Armstead a defensive tackle, you've kept 8 defensive tackles on your roster.
I've spent a lot of money on
him. If you are keeping 8 defensive tackles on your roster, that should be a position of strength, right? And right now, it's not.
It shouldn't be a position of weakness.
And I don't want to say it's a position of weakness, but it's a position that it's a position of weakness as far as pass rush. As far as run stopping ability, look, the numbers tell you they're doing a good job. And when you watch them, they're doing a good job.
Right.
But you got to find a way to get better pass rush on the inside, because, right now, you're not getting it.
How has Mason Smith reacted to week 2 not even being available in a team decision?
Oh, I think he's reacted fine, but, the productivity is still not there yet for him. He's a young player, and you knew that when you drafted him that he was going to be a bit of a project. You watch his career at LSU and highly ranked coming out of high school, and then he was playing pretty well. Then he had the injury, and then his senior year was a year in which you could tell that he was recovering from an injury, and the productivity and the splash plays or the dynamite plays weren't there. So I think he was a guy that you were drafting with the hope that he would blossom eventually. And right now he's trying to figure things out. He's got an amazing set of tools because when he goes, when you give him one purpose and in training camp, like what we saw in one-on-one pass rush, they couldn't block him. Well, in the games, it's a little different. You got to react. You've got to, think when you line up, and then you've got to react to the scheme. And then you say, okay, am I playing the run? Am I rushing the passer? Who's blocking me? In a one-on-one pass rush drill, it's advantage defense all the way in practice, because you're rushing that guy, and it's a pass, and nobody else is going to be pass blocking you in a game. There's a lot of other factors that are sitting there, waiting to have to go through before you say, okay, now I got a pass rush.
Among defensive linemen, haven't really talked about Josh Hines-Allen. Continues to play well, though?
Yeah, played well. Not quite the Josh this past game, but good. But good. I thought that, first of all, he has had a really good player on the other side of him. The offensive tackle for the Colts, Ryman, I think his name was. Yeah, Bernard Ryman. Good player. So that was a tough matchup for him, wearing the
Guardian cap.
Yeah. And so, my first thought was, good for him for putting on the Guardian cap a week after that he was evaluated for a concussion. But then my also thought process is that, okay, if the Guardian cap is on, is that thought process in his mind? You know what I mean?
I wonder if it is, like when you get out there.
Loose, you know what I mean?
Is it heavy enough that you'd even notice it?
No, it's really light.
Right. So I wonder if he's out there, if he even thinks about it, because he doesn't see it on himself after he puts it on. So I thought about that watching the game this weekend. All right, before we shift over to another position group, let's take a timeout here because we want to get into the linebacker play here with Logs on a Check the Tape Tuesday. 641-1010 on the Garber Automall phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat or, of course, hit us up on social media with your questions or comments for Logs on a Check the Tape Tuesday. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. You know what? Maybe if you are on the highways getting out of town for a little while, don't panic. It's okay. You might not have planned ahead. Swing into a gate station, fill up the tank. We understand you got to get that done. And then fill up your cooler with a great sampling of Dandy offerings. Throw a bag of ice in there and grab a bunch of sandwiches and subs, and you're ready for an impromptu road trip. Heck, just driving around Duval is an impromptu road trip sometimes. So if you want some great Dandy options, they've got them for you, including the hot roast beef and provolone, the Italian combo that'll melt in your mouth, the all-white meat spicy buffalo chicken, and, of course, the big old juicy classic 100% beef cheeseburger. All those options served on fresh ciabatta bread, which is baked locally and delivered daily, as you'd expect from the folks that bring you fresh and never frozen goodness all over Duval County. The Thompson family, creators of Dandy, nearly 70 years ago, and only getting better. When you're hungry, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Get a Friday evening full of football fun.
I'm National College football writer Matt Hayes.
The big games, the big matchups.
Get you ready for football Saturday.
It's the Bueller Aaron Plumbing College Kickoff, Friday night at 6. Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue on 1010XL.
When it comes to selling your home, it can be stressful. Take the stress out with my friends Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. How's this for a guarantee? Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they'll buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers, and if you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home. Take Kim in Palm Coast. I needed to move closer to family ASAP, but I had to sell my Palm Coast home first. I tried and failed with another agent. So my family said, you got to call Chad and Sandy. Well, sure enough, as promised, Chad and Sandy did it. They sold my home in 3 days, above asking price. Call the local Jacksonville experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Mia here. The name to remember this hurricane season is Pro-Jax Roofing. Your neighbors have relied on Mike for 25 years to repair or replace their roofs. When you call Pro-Jax Roofing, you only talk to Mike. No expensive salespeople. You always get the best price for your project. For the lowest insurance rates, a free wind mitigation report is always given with your roof replacement. Pro-Jax Roofing wishes you a safe hurricane season. And if needed, Mike is here to help. Call today for a free estimate or go online at ProjaxRoofingFL.com.
Oh my goodness.
Fishing is more fun when you catch something.
Yeah!
Listen for the Wind Power Fishing Forecast Show with Captain Kevin. Woo-hoo! Brought to you by Veterans Wholesale Cabinets and Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Brian Wall here with Window World. You know that awesome feeling when you finally find that one place to go to that will give you a top quality product at a great price and then stand behind what they sell you? That's exactly what Window World does. Top quality, energy efficient windows at a great price that keeps more of your money in your bank account. With the absolute best guarantee in the window replacement business. That's why Window World has been the #1 window replacement company in the USA for years, selling more than 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years. That's a lot of satisfied customers, and you can be one too. Save money on installing new energy-efficient windows and save on your energy bills too. You can't lose. And if anything goes wrong with your new Window World windows ever, Window World and I will be there to make it right. Call Window World today or see them online and have them come and give you a free estimate and see why we are so proud of our products and the work we do for our customers. Call Window World or go online at windowworldneflorida.com. And thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Roof damage? Call before you claim. Green Law Group, fighting insurance companies for you. They will work for you when you have roof damage. Don't let your insurance deny you. Don't call an adjuster. Call Green Law Group at 904-302-7055. Remember, if you have roof damage, call Green Law Group before you claim. They've settled millions and will work hard to get your claim and new roof. Green Law Group. Call before you claim. 904-302-7055.
If you want someone who will pump out the problems, vote for the Duck.
Call Duck Duck Rooter, your 5-star Google-rated septic company. DuckDuckRooter.com.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
If you're searching for a new fence installation, challenge yourself to find a fence company with more positive online reviews than Superior Fence and Rail. With over 3,000 reviews and a 4.9 out of 5 review range, Superior Fence and Rail is, well, superior. So take the online challenge or let their professional team show you what superior service looks like. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
The coolers are full at your local Gate gas station, making it easy for you to cruise in and cruise out with little downtime. Ice cold Coronas, Natty Light, Stella Artois, and Michelob Ultra. Don't forget the king of beers, Cold Buds. Gate's got them in the cooler, waiting for you.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, sponsored by Kuhn Flowers. The Florida win over UCF was getting back to fundamentals such as tackling for head coach Billy Napier.
And I think we did tackle better. We played well, but we have to do this consistently.
If FSU is to get back in the winning column, the running game will have to get on track. Head coach Mike Norvell knows there are several issues that need to be addressed.
We've had leverage issues. We've had obviously things in our technique.
The Jacksonville Icemen are officially back on the ice after the offseason. The Icemen have some new faces this year, including head coach Brandon Massenter, who knows the type of player he wants.
It's that skills, the high-end players that have the skill set, but also have that jam.
The Icemen open their season on October 19th at 7 p.m. at 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena. At your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, I'm Sam Nelson.
At 10:56, it's 79 degrees. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler, Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman is brought to you by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, another hour to go here with Jeff Lageman in studio. Check the Tape Tuesday. It's first Check the Tape Victory Tuesday of the season, and still in a little bit of a celebratory mood. But looking at all phases of the Jaguars' performance this week, the good and the bad. If you want to get in, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. So let's go to the lines for the first time this morning with Jay on the west side. First up, Jay, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead.
Good morning. Jeff, I had a question. When you look at the tape, what did you notice different from the O-line this week? I think they did much better this week.
Yeah, I would say that, number one, the way that they finish was much better in this ball game. Assignment clean, which was great.
What does that mean?
No mistakes. You got one guy sometimes, going the wrong way.
He's blocking the wrong guy or whatever.
Yeah, and that's imperative. And I think it also helps a little bit, the simplicity of a Gus Bradley defense makes that a little bit easier for an offensive line. But I would say that the way that they finished, the way that they were determined, and then, the reality is that the Colts are not that good up front. Now, this week against the Bears, it's a whole different story. It's a much better group. The Colts were – if the Colts were at full strength, that's a good group. But they weren't nearly at full strength. Probably their top two players were out, and they had one really good player in the middle in Grover Stewart, and then Latu, their first-round pick, is very young and still trying to figure it out. Other than that, it's kind of just a bunch of guys. And so you would expect them to play better against that group, and they did. So kudos to them. And look, I don't know if Trevor ever got hit in the ball game. It didn't seem to me that he ever got hit.
Not officially. No quarterback hits for the Colts, at least in the box score.
Yeah.
Might have got touched on the way by, something like that.
But great game for them.
Yeah. Jay, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Definitely stepped up their level of play this week.
And again, I'm going to say it again. Ezra Cleveland, my offensive lineman player of the game, I thought he was fantastic. I thought Brandon Sheriff was more physical than he has been. He had a couple weeks there where there's certain plays you kind of go, you're getting pushed around a little bit and in key moments, and he was better in this game as well.
All right. Thank you, Jay. Let's go to Benjamin on the north side next on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Benjamin.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Excellent. What's up, man?
With Andre Cisco moving like a turtle back there in the safety, should we move him somewhere else and maybe put like Tayshaun Gibson or Donald Savage back there to cover the deep ball a lot more better?
Well, look, I don't think Cisco is that slow, to be honest with you. I think the awareness needs to be better by him, but I also think that the safety play as a whole needs to be better. It's not all on Andre Cisco, because the fact is that Antonio Johnson had some moments so far in this season where he has looked like a very young player that's still learning. And so they've got to be better, there's no doubt. When you're playing a lot of single high safety and man coverage, it puts a lot of stress on the safety. And I think the scheme can help him out a little bit. I think Ryan Nielsen's got to be able to be a little bit less predictable. In my mind, I think Buffalo kind of dialed it in and kind of showed that, look, they got it kind of figured out. Mm-hmm. And not once have I don't want to say, as a whole, I haven't seen an opposing quarterback sit there in the pocket and look flustered as to where he's going with the ball.
The thing that's confounding, Tone and Jeff, you look at Buffalo the last couple of weeks, that offense has looked not very good.
Well, I think the injury to Shakir means a whole lot more to him
that
than
meant a lot
we all
this
thought.
week, but
right.
It was the same way the week before,
right?
They
didn't get that rolling, but then he got hurt, and everything was like they got nothing, right? Like, and it does feel like I don't know why one player would affect that offense as badly as it seems to have affected that Buffalo offense. But there's no arguing that Josh Allen, if Trevor Lawrence had the kind of numbers that Josh Allen had on throws of over 10 yards this week, the whole world would have been like, this guy sucks.
Right.
That would have been the conversation all week long. It's like, is it ever going to happen for this guy? Now, I get it. Josh Allen has enough credit behind him that everyone goes, you know what? It's a bad run. We'll see what happens. He'll get himself out of it. But he was terrible on Sunday.
He was 9-30, which is miserable. But, the same people who would be critiquing that are the ones who are pushing him as the leading MVP candidate 2 weeks ago. So it's kind of tough to go from that to – I was so terribly wrong, but I look at that, Logs, and I'm not trying to fool myself here. Like, yes, the Jags could have won maybe 4 of the first 5, right? But they didn't, and some of the teams they lost to, Cleveland is among the worst teams in the National Football League. They're just terrible, right?
I'm not a big fan of sitting there saying, we could have won 4 games. Well, fact of the matter is that you are what you are.
Sure.
You didn't win those 4 games. And one game you had no chance of even being in the game.
Yeah.
And the reality is that in each game you had chances to win it. And I'm talking relatively easy chances to win.
Reasonable chances.
Yes. And you didn't do it. So, what does that say about you? Does it say, well, you're close, or does it say you're a lot farther away than you really are?
Well, I don't think you find that out till you get put in that moment again and it doesn't happen. Right? Like, I did think on Sunday when they had the face mask penalty and then the 1-yard run, I was like, here's that moment. This is the adversity in this game. And then the 61-yarder to Kirk, I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. It's the first time this year that we've seen them put in that kind of hole and they responded, right? Defensively, as we've been talking about, that fourth quarter was a disaster.
Total disaster.
Right? For the defense. We were talking about linebackers right before we went to the break. How would you like to see them divide up the reps between Foye, Devin, and Ventrell when Foye is able to get back out onto the field?
It's a great question. Foye, to me, shouldn't leave the field.
Mm-hmm.
I think you split reps between Devin and Ventrell. Chad Muma, to me, wouldn't be in the conversation. I think he's a good special teams player and kind of a break glass in the case of emergency linebacker as far as playing snaps on defense. But Ventrell's giving you something right now that tackling-wise against the run that's just impressive. He's not perfect. He's messing up a little bit in the pass game. He did last week. He did his pass game as well. But right now, I mean, he is minimizing the damage on plays in a big fashion because he's so quick to make a tackle.
And Ryan Nielsen can do what you're suggesting. He can rotate those guys if he wants to. But if you only could go with one going forward, like who would you bank on playing better rest of season? Ventrell, Devin Lloyd?
That's a tough one. You know, I mean, because here's the thing. You trust Devin because you got more film on him. Super athletic. But the one thing I think that Ventrell plays the game with that Devin doesn't have is that Ventrell's got that burst.
Yeah.
The speed, which is amazing, by the way. Let's not forget the guy had a torn Achilles last year. I mean, which makes what he's doing now really impressive. And I'm not saying he's perfect right now.
No.
But, I mean, the burst that he's playing the game with, the way that he accelerates to make a tackle, the way that he's been a secure tackler has been impressive. And Devin Lloyd is super athletic. And the ball always seems to find Devin Lloyd. And so, to me, it's hard not to go with Devin Lloyd just because you trust it. But I think as far as, okay, down the road, who's got maybe the higher ceiling, you know, then maybe you might think that it's Ventrell, but that's a great debate.
I've heard Dave Campo talking about this several times this year, that even seeing it at camp with Ventrell Miller, that he was always impressed by how quickly he moves, right? Like at the snap, there's no hesitation. Now, he may not always get to the right spot, right? Talking about the pass coverage and that kind of thing, but I think it explains why he is the kind of tackler he is and why it shows up the way that it does.
Ventrell plays downhill. He attacks. You know, Devin plays a little bit more lateral. There was a couple plays that I was sitting there and I was watching kind of the two of them play, and I'm watching Ventrell, and I'm going, good Lord. You know, he's taken 3 steps, and he's literally has moved 2.5 yards towards the line of scrimmage, whereas Devin takes 3 steps, and he's still parallel to the line of scrimmage. You know, so, I mean, there's a difference in the way that they attack the line of scrimmage in the play. And so, for me, it's a great debate, and I wish that Devin had some of that closing speed that Ventrell has. And but it's a great question, Mike.
All right, so you mentioned Foye would never come off the field, and we agree with that. Like that's one guy who's proven he can be an Iron Man, right? And so he's going to help when he comes back because he's Foye. He's really good. In terms of the secondary, just to kind of circle back to that, they have some guys that are coming up. Somebody mentioned Tashawn Gibson. We don't know, exactly what we're going to get when we get him out there. But Dewey Wingard will be hopefully returning sooner rather than later, and we'll eventually get Tyson Campbell. So, Campbell obviously is your top guy in terms of an outside cover guy, but can those other guys, with the safety struggling as much, are you hoping that they get back to maybe push for playing time, or is it just more depth pieces that you're adding there?
I hope that they can push because that means that they're healthy enough to push somebody. And sometimes that's a little bit of a concern. It's like as a guy works his way back. Let's flash back to last year when Tyson Campbell was coming back from the hamstring. There was a game that they sat him down working his way back because he wasn't playing up to par on his way back. So I think there's a little bit of concern for anybody that's coming back from an injury is can they get back up to the expectation level of play that they had for them when they were healthy. But I don't think there's any doubt that it will help. But will it help right away? Some of these guys are eligible to come off of the injured list, but it doesn't mean they're necessarily ready to assume that role as they need to work their way back. So it's something that's definitely going to be something that you're going to want to watch. The good thing is that you have, put it this way, if they're healthy, you feel really good about their ability to contribute and to compete for playing time and to help this defense. But are they healthy and ready to do that? There might take some time to get to that point, but at least you feel good about, hey, look, we've got some guys that we can bring in to help. Tashawn Gibson's a little bit different in that if he's signed to the active roster, which could be a possibility, it's not like he's working his way back from an injury.
Correct.
He's working his way maybe into game shape a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what he was or wasn't able to do in the time that he was serving the suspension, but you feel good about those guys, those 3 guys in particular, helping this defense in some way, shape, or form get better here as the season goes.
Look, it's understandable. I think the fan base lives and dies with each week's performance, right? So we went from Fire Press Taylor to Fire Ryan Nielsen this week on social media, right? Like some of that. And yeah, you get it, right? Fans react the way they're going to react. But I'm going to ask it to you this way, Logs. You've seen 5 weeks of this. You understand where the injuries have impacted offense and defense. Which side of the ball do you trust more right now?
Offense.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, would that have been the case before this week?
Yes.
Okay.
I just look, I said this from the very beginning of the season that I feel really good about the offense. You know, and a lot of people are saying, well, you can't trust the offensive line. And you guys heard me say it here. I thought that the offensive line was good enough. And I thought that they had some talent. They've got a little bit of depth. Defensively, I had concern about their ability to rush the passer because you've got 2 guys, and that's kind of it. And then you brought in a journeyman at corner. Your linebacking group playing man. You know, can Foye play man? Yes. Can the other guys play man? Not as fast. You know, and I wasn't expecting Ventrell Miller to play at the level that he's playing at just because he's coming off of an Achilles injury. So going into the season, I trusted the offense more than I did the defense. And I still continue to trust the offense more. But the quarterback's got to continue to play at a level that's where he's capable.
Right. If he's going to play like that, of course we're going to trust the offense.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting, too. You know, sometimes the way that people talk about offensive line stuff kind of falls on deaf ears because you hear it year after year. It's like we just need these guys to be together for a little while and develop some chemistry and these different things. But I think that does have an impact on the on-field performance of these guys. And Mitch Morse is the new center. They had some things that they're trying to figure out with all that. It doesn't explain why they had the weaknesses they had the first couple of weeks at the offensive tackle positions especially.
Yeah, it doesn't explain it because Mitch Morse came out of the gate and was the best offensive lineman that this team had. So there was no, we just need to get up to speed with Mitch Morse.
Right.
No.
He hit the ground, was up to speed.
Yeah.
You know, the simple fact is that the performance on, Anton Harrison was not playing well. Brandon Sheriff did not play great to start the season. And Cam Robinson did not play great to start the season. The only guys that were, you felt good about were Ezra Cleveland, which early in the season you're like, he's playing okay. And then Mitch Morse, you felt like he's playing better than okay. The rest of the guys were a disappointment. Well, now they've gotten up to speed, and I'm not a big guy that says, they need to play together more. Okay, I'm one of these guys that says they just need to play better, period.
All right, more with Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday. We'll go around the league when we come back as well. Got some more pointed questions on social media logs that we will pass along to you. And you're still welcome to get in on the Garber Automall phone lines at 641-1010. Check the Tape Tuesday continues on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Lickety Split. Look, hopefully your power is going to remain on throughout the storm season, but even if it is on, if your AC goes out, you're going to be in big trouble here in North Florida. That's why you need help now, like right now, like Lickety Split. Lickety Split will give you same-day emergency service for your AC. You see their trucks all over town with dozens of certified technicians ready to repair not only your air conditioning, but your home's plumbing and electrical, too. For premium solutions you can trust, go with Lickety Split online at licketysplitfl.com.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. He is our quarterback savant, and he'll take you inside his mind.
So you can learn more about the science of quarterbacking.
Denny Thompson is the quarterback whisperer. Friday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Hi, I'm Chuck Farah. We know how important it is for you to have a vehicle after you've been injured in a car accident. So when we represent you for your personal injury claim, we'll help you get a rental car from the insurance company while your car is being repaired. And we'll provide this service at no additional fee. If you're hurt and you've got no car, let my team go to work for you. Farah & Farah, protecting you and your family. Call us at 396-5555 or go to farahandfarah.com. Jacksonville.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Facing a DUI charge or even a boating under the influence charge? Well, I'm your man, DUI lawyer Malcolm Anthony at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW. Once again, 285-4LAW.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Spend lunchtime with the ladies.
Say, where's your sense of adventure?
They don't cook, but they serve up spicy sports talk.
Sure, it's on the menu.
Helmets and heels.
That is a meal.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
Jacksonville, are you ready? The college basketball season is tipping off with an epic in-state showdown. The Florida Gators and South Florida Bulls go head-to-head in the Jacksonville Sports Foundation Invitational. Be there Monday, November 4th at Veterans Memorial Arena and witness this in-state rivalry live. Secure your seats now at Ticketmaster.com. It's Florida versus South Florida to start the college basketball season on November 4th in Jacksonville. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Homeowners, listen up. The Fed has taken action, lowering rates for the first time in years, and Loan Pronto has followed suit by lowering mortgage rates big time. Prosser here. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.59% APR, the lowest in 2 years. Whether you got your loan last month or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto and dump that high-rate loan. You can lock in a lower rate fast with virtually no paperwork and usually no appraisal. There's no limit on how many times you can refi, so get started. Even if you're in process with another lender, give Loan Pronto a call. If you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Purchase loans available as well, so call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hi, Jags fans. Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Corona Premier. Just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. It's a light beer that... Wait, this is a light beer? But we shouldn't really tell people about... Right, that's why I'm here. Sorry. Corona Premier, unexpectedly, light beer.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE neograft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS. IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman is brought to you by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, continuing to look back at the Jaguars' first victory of the season, and in the final segment, we'll look ahead a little bit to the matchup with the Chicago Bears. But first, let's look at what's happening around the rest of the National Football League. Week 5 is in the books.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Houston is calling wide receiver Nico Collins week to week after the hamstring injury that he suffered on Sunday. Indianapolis has placed guard Will Fries on IR because of a broken tibia he suffered on Sunday here in Jacksonville. Tennessee quarterback Will Levis did not practice on Monday, but is expected to get back on the practice field sometime this week as he works back from a shoulder injury. Further testing has confirmed that Kansas City wide receiver Rashee Rice will miss the remainder of the season. Finally, we have some closure on that story. Arizona right guard Will Hernandez will miss the remainder of the season after he suffered a knee injury Sunday. Cardinals wide receiver Zay Jones has been activated after serving a 5-game suspension on the commissioner's exempt list. Carolina center Austin Corbett suffered a torn biceps and will miss the remainder of the season. Cincinnati defensive back Dax Hill is feared to have suffered a torn ACL Sunday. Dallas defensive end Marshawn Kneeland expected to miss the next 4 to 6 weeks after suffering a partially torn lateral meniscus Sunday night. Las Vegas Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce said on Monday that he has not made any decision yet about who will start at quarterback for the Raiders between Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell this week. And the Tampa Bay Bucks are heading up to New Orleans today ahead of Hurricane Milton. The Bucks play the Saints in New Orleans this week.
All right, thank you, Tony. Appreciate that. And imagine you're evacuating a hurricane and going to New Orleans, right? Like the irony of that. So good luck to the Bucs, and good luck to all of you out there within range of this broadcast. If you're in the state of Florida in particular, with Milton bearing down on the west coast of the state over the next couple of days. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman here. Logs, we got a good one here on social media, so let's dig into it with today's 10-10 Take.
10-10
Take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 Take, brought to you by
Double-checked. Cybersecurity made simple.
All right, Logs, this one from Leland on Twitter or X. For 2 weeks in a row, Jags offense has had the ball, just needing to run the clock out, and for 2 weeks in a row, we throw it and go 3 and out, running only a minute off the clock. In a week with a lot to celebrate, I'm still befuddled by the play calling there. What do you make of the thought process?
Well, it definitely needs to be better, and there's no doubt about that. And it's disappointing that they're not able to do that, and especially when you've got a running game that's been working as well as it has. You want to see a little bit more attention to that, but it's got to be better, just like your defense has got to be better. We were just talking during a break about the defensive kind of collapse at the end of that ball game, and you allowed essentially 5 plays, 147 yards of offense by the Colts, and allowed 14 points in 87 seconds of offense. Now, so both sides of the ball need to start playing better down the stretch of games to close them out, no doubt.
Without that period, and
the same thing like with the offense, Mike, that you just bring it up. It happened in Houston too. Houston offensively, you did nothing at the end of the ball game.
That's what Leland's saying. It's 2 weeks in a row. It's happened multiple times this year. You get in the 4-minute offense and you can't do anything. The Jags have been in position with a lead or trailing, needing a field goal, and haven't come through at that point in the game.
It didn't bother me this week as much as it did in Houston. This week, because of the way the offense had been functioning the whole game, when they threw on the 3-and-out drive, when they came out throwing on that, in my head, I was like, good. I was like, let Trevor go win the game. That's what I was thinking when they were in the moment. I get it. It'd be nice if you did just kind of lean back on the run game, which had been okay enough to do that kind of thing that day. But then they get the ball back after they tie the game, and I had zero doubt.
I wasn't a fan of it, Tony, because you had a 14-point lead.
And you had a guy averaging 8 yards a carry.
Lead. Yeah, it was already a field goal game at that point. Right. So it was, if we get a couple first downs here, now we win the game. In the moment, I was okay with it because of how well Trevor had functioned all day. I had no issue at any point putting it on him, and he made 2 good throws. Right? It just didn't work out. The Brian Thomas Jr. throw and the Gabe Davis throw, those were both good throws, and both of them could have converted into first downs, and then there's no conversation about this kind of thing. But it didn't work out that way. He still got the ball back and found a way to go win the game.
Yeah. No.
But, I mean, that's play calling, though, right? At the end, when Philadelphia on that Monday night, and they decide to throw it, and if Saquon just catches it, they win the game. But he didn't, and that is part of the inherent risk when you do throw the ball that, bad throw, drop, pass breakup, whatever the case may be. There are a lot of things that can go wrong with it.
Well, and at the end of the game there, okay, you got a 14-point lead. Who was the running back that was on the field for the Jaguars offensively at that point? I'm trying to remember.
At which drive? When you had the 14-point lead?
Yeah, when you had the 14-point lead.
I'll look through the play-by-play here.
Yeah, just kind of curious about that because I don't remember offhand.
Right. All right, let's see. Jags up 34-20, and see, you had a 14-point lead. Then the Colts scored on the very next drive, right? So, okay.
I'm just talking about when you had the 14-point lead, who did you have on the field at running back? Because I don't remember.
Let's see. Tank Bigsby had the 65-yard run to give him a 14-point lead. So Tank was on the field, and then they cut it to 7. So you were never on the field with a 14-point lead. You came back, and you're only up 7 because the Colts scored on the next drive.
Right.
But when they did come back, Dearness
point.
Johnson was the running back.
And I wonder at that point of the ball game, are you maybe not completely trusting Tank Bigsby's ball security? Okay, because ETN's he's nicked.
Right, and that ball did come out at the goal line for Tank.
It did, and he recovered it.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of wondering, at that point, you'd love to be able to say, hey, let's just go ahead and pound the ball, but there's still a level of trust that's probably not there with Tank Bigsby at that critical moment at that point in the ball.
And like I said, it would have been high for me, and it appeared it was for them and Trevor Lawrence in the moment. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, I wish that the confidence was in everybody in that moment, but the game situation may have determined something else.
I still like the call of run there at some point. Because you're talking 45 seconds.
Well, look at what Buffalo did, right? Buffalo's backed up against Houston this week. They're backed up at the end of the game. And they trust Josh Allen. He's an MVP-level player, so we want to put the game in his hands.
Yeah.
We went incomplete. Houston saves their timeouts. They punt. They're able to throw it in the middle of the field, get a quick timeout, and get a 59-yard field goal to win the game. If you just run, you punt it away, they've got no time to do that. They're not going to be able to do that, and you take the game to overtime. Yeah. Or maybe James Cook rips off a 12-yard run, and you get a drive started. You never know. But we haven't really talked much about Tank today.
Yeah.
And the performance. And I get it. ETN, I understand he had the shoulder the week before. We saw him on the sideline kind of, holding the football and feeling that shoulder area. But
thank goodness his hands aren't hurt.
Right. And
they needed that on Sunday.
He's catching the ball well out of the backfield.
Yeah, great catches.
But Tank is running it like a man possessed. He certainly was this week. I mean, what's the split between these guys going forward, Logs?
You got a hot hand.
Just ride whoever.
Yeah, you ride the hot hand. And ETN's still going to play. It's not like he's not going to play. But if Tank is running the ball better, then you give the ball to Tank. I mean, that's just how it works, right?
Well, like you said, in terms of trust, do they trust him in pass pro like they trust ETN?
No.
So that's a factor too.
Correct.
In whatever situation.
Yeah, I think all of that is, ball security, trust and protection. You're still trying to get to that level with Tank Bigsby. And so when you get into certain situations, there's more trust for ETN than there is for Bigsby. But then when you want to trust somebody to run the ball and get a big gain, you're going to trust Tank Bigsby to do that more now. First of all, Tank Bigsby, the 2 touchdown runs that he had were awesome. Just great displays of power on both of them. And then on the one, 65?
Yep.
That one had great speed. I think I saw the report on the number of that. The NFL's pretty cool. Next Gen Stats, they track all the speed. He was like 20.9 miles per hour on that one. And that's after having to cut and then run through some tackles. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm. Wish he could have had that last week.
Just a little bit more, that final 4 yards. Yeah. Gabe Davis and Trevor Lawrence, what did you make of the sideline incident?
I didn't see it. That's one thing I haven't seen yet. But I will say this because I've kind of read and seen what people are saying about it. Look, there's always, what's the way to put it, heated arguments or discussions on the sideline.
Sure.
If there's not, then there's something wrong. And so part of that is just it comes with the game. It comes with the territory. And I don't think it's anything that's going to be impactful to carry on into this week or into the future. Sometimes some of that is needed. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of that. A little bit of edge sometimes is a good thing to have. So I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, the fans are giving Gabe a hard time because the next catch was the fumble, right? So they see him yelling at Trevor, and then he fumbles, and they're like, this bum. Like that. But that's how fans react to all of those kind of things.
Let me say this about Gabe Davis. He's far from a bum. Gabe is a quality player, and he's a quality guy. He'll be fine.
It hasn't made much of an impact, though.
Not yet.
At this point. And,
nice if he caught that third down last week. My goodness.
But he didn't, right? And that's the thing. And I'm not comparing him to Calvin Ridley. I'm comparing him to Zay Jones.
Yeah.
And that's why I said this summer, I said, if you look at what Zay was when he got here, he was less than what Gabe Davis was. He had not had the same kind of career at the point he joined the Jaguars that Gabe Davis has had. Gabe Davis is much more successful than Zay ever was. And then Zay got here with increased opportunities and turned into a really nice player for the team. So I was hoping that at the very least, and there's still a lot of time to go, but I was hoping at the very least that he would match or not even necessarily exceed that impact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for the same thing because you're right. He had more credentials coming in than Zay Jones had. And I think he'll be fine. Because he's shown throughout his career that he's been that level of a player, and I think he'll be there.
All right, we'll take our final time out here with Jeff Lageman in on a Check the Tape Tuesday. When we return, we'll cast our eyes towards the matchup with the Chicago Bears. A little bit still time for you to get in if you'd like at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines, and we'll see if we've got any other ones lingering out there on social media. A Check the Tape Tuesday on Jaguars Today continues on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. You love a company that delivers on its promises. I do as well, and that's why I'm such a proponent of Awaken 180. Going to lose weight, going to lose it fast. Check those boxes. Going to do it in a safe way that it doesn't feel like you're starving yourself. Absolutely. No big exercise routine, no injections, no medications. Check, check, check. You're going to eat to lose weight with Awaken 180. That works, so now what? You've lost the weight. Maybe you've done that before. You've dropped 20, 50, 80 pounds, and you found them again, and you put them back on. Well, Awaken 180's big selling point to me is once you hit your goal weight, you get free support and coaching for life, and they're going to guide you on that plan to maintain the weight that you've already lost. Call Awaken 180 if you want to be their next success story at 844-346-1800. They've had over 21,000 customers with a 98+% satisfaction rating. Online, you can schedule a free consultation at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
Hey, Hickett here. I want to talk skin along with my friends at Beaches Dermatology, reminding you to wear your sunscreen. Football season is back, baby. And with that, days under that bright sun. So when you load up that truck for the game day tailgate, or the chairs for your kids' flag games, or even the boat heading downtown to watch our Jags, make sure you bring the screen. Sunscreen, that is. It's a must here in Duval. But if you have any concerns right now, give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A. member FDIC.
Hey gang, Prosser here, telling you once again about Chad and Sandy Newman. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. So maybe you want guaranteed no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. They can handle that. You see, Chad and Sandy can take every problem you think you have and replace it with a promise. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. The success stories are rolling in. Mike and Lisa in McCormick. We inherited a family home that came with equity but also a mortgage. We needed to sell fast to avoid extra expenses on a second mortgage. We heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. Everything they say on the radio is true. The home sold in 3 days for full asking price. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's ChadAndSandy.com.
Rake in the savings this fall with Universal Roof and Contract. Enjoy 15% off all roof repairs and replacements with financing options as low as $115 a month. Protecting your home has never been easier. Schedule your free roof inspection today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP. This offer expires October 31st. Protect your home and your wallet. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Tony Baselli gets up early Monday morning to share a big football breakfast with you. Some French toast and sausage patties. Hall of Fame Monday, 7:20 with Dan and Jeff on the Drill. Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida on 1010XL. Now, it's time to showcase the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game. Live generously and life will treat you royally.
Cam Little was major in Jacksonville's victory over Indianapolis. The young rookie was excellent in both his field goal tries as well as his extra point attempts, including nailing the game-winning field goal. When it comes to styling and profiling, look no further than this young man. Cam Little is your Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and GIA-certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $2,300 per ounce and hasn't seen this level in over 13 years. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jax for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Cyber threats don't take time outs. Protect your business with DoubleCheck Cybersecurity's AI-powered solutions. Get 24/7 defense and stop hackers before they score. Don't wait. Visit doublecheck.com to schedule your free security consultation today.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World,
simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
This is Dr. Michael Iorio, internal medicine physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Former Jaguars linebacker Tom McManus on the performance of Trevor Lawrence against the Colts.
Had an outstanding day. Overall, Trevor had an outstanding day. I didn't like the pick, just underthrew it. I think they had good coverage on him. He didn't know that other guy was going to be there. Should have thrown it a little bit higher, but whatever. It's still a great day for Trevor Lawrence. He was on fire. He hit the big shots that we needed him to. You know, what else? You can't ask for much more from the kid. I thought he played a really good game.
Former Jaguars linebacker Tom McManus on the Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast. You can watch the full episode on our 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, Trevor Lawrence was cool under a lack of pressure this week.
Yep.
Not cool under pressure. He came through thanks to the offensive line, giving him the opportunity, and he made the throws. On top of that, Logs, another one here on social media from Keith. Trevor Lawrence seems to have more success against Indianapolis than others, and I think that's been pretty well documented. He's had some real good games against the Colts. He's obviously played better than weeks past, prior to this week, but does Indianapolis's defensive scheme allow for something that the others don't? How different is it? Why does it seem like Trevor's really comfortable playing against that Gus Bradley defense, in your opinion?
But to play a Gus Bradley defense, you got to have patience and be willing to take a lot of the underneath stuff. And I think one of the traits of Trevor is his maturity, and he's willing to be patient at times. And I think that's helped him a lot, especially in this type of scenario. I mean, you look at the past 4 games prior to this game, I think Trevor's rating against the 4 previous Colt games were like a 109.9, something in that range, which is tremendous. And then I think also because you can get some easy completions underneath, I think it helps Trevor get in a rhythm. And so maybe you learn something from that and you say, okay, let's maybe start a game getting some easy completions and maybe help get him into a rhythm some. So, but look, it's this Colts team too hasn't exactly been the most fearsome pass rushing group on the planet.
No doubt.
And that's a big part of it. When teams have gotten pressure early in games against Trevor, we've seen the feet react a lot differently. And I think that's been a big reason.
And I think this week it was a timing thing too. Right, with all the chaos coming out of the Houston week and the way the last few weeks had gone, for Trevor Lawrence to get into a game where the Colts are going to allow you to complete a bunch of short passes and get into a rhythm if you're willing to accept the opportunity. Like, I do think from a just getting ready mentally for this game and going in and saying, I need to do what I've been talking about doing for the last couple weeks, take whatever they're going to give me, and we'll see where we go from there. I thought mentally that probably resets Trevor just getting ready for this week, on top of having the level of success that he's had every time he's faced that defense to this point in his career.
Yeah, and look, when you've lost 4 games in a row, and prior to the game, it was, 314 days without a victory.
Been a while.
As a quarterback, look, that has a tendency to guys sharpen their focus a little bit. And I think his focus was definitely there. And a good start helped him get in the rhythm in the play of the offensive line. Got to give a lot of credit to them because his feet were really calm.
I've got another one for you. I want to pass this along though from the Jacksonville Jaguars digital team. I mean, like Logs, you probably worn that shirt more than once, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. They put out a tweet that said you can wear the same outfit twice, right? Jets Jags. Week 15, December 15th.
Cool.
So there you go. I assume we're getting the Prowler throwbacks for another game is what that means.
Look, first of all, what a great weekend. The former guys, former players that were in, former coaches that were in. It was a great weekend. It was great to see them. Friday we had a meet and greet at Beach Bowl. Saturday we had a dinner at the MEC, the Miller Electric Center. I know there was a breakfast Sunday morning. Great to see a lot of the guys. Great to see Tom Coughlin. He came to the dinner, obviously, on Saturday night and spoke to all of us. And we shared a lot of stories, and it wasn't, nobody was there to take pictures, or was obtrusive, and it was relaxed. It was great. Tom Coughlin did a great job, I thought, at the podium. They told him that he was going to get 2 minutes knowing that he would go over. He still went over. But I totally get it because he wanted to thank people in a proper fashion. It was awesome. Great weekend from that aspect. Love the throwbacks. I think the players like the throwbacks.
I do too.
And I hope that at some point there can be a marrying of the two. Because I think the prowler on the sleeve is
awesome, right?
Awesome.
Right, but I like the modern helmet logo so much better than the old one.
I would love to see the modern Jaguar cat
on the helmet
with a new modern prowler.
Yeah.
And that old teal, it just popped more.
It really did. I mean, it jumped off the screen, that version of teal.
Hey, look, Spike Lee said it was his shoes. Maybe it's the jersey.
Maybe it is. Whatever. We're going to get to see him again against the Jets, it appears. Last one here, and then we'll take a quick look ahead to Chicago. This from Bush Drive Rich. From what you've seen so far, are we moving the ball better with 2 tight end sets or 1 tight end sets?
Can we brag on Britton Strange for a minute?
Heck yeah.
Do it, man.
I mean, I've been telling you guys he's the best blocking guy on the offense. And the way he climbed the ladder to make that catch was outstanding. I can tell you this, when Evan Ingram comes back, Britton Strange has carved a rollout for himself. Because Britton Strange is a big reason as to why this team has been running the ball successfully as they have. So I think it's going to be interesting. Now, look, I like 2 tight end sets. I do, for this football team when they're in first and second down. It gives you the ability to do play action, I think. It keeps the defense a little bit off balance. When this team has gone to 3 wide receiver sets, it makes them a little bit more predictable. So, yes, I like 2 tight ends.
Right, there you go.
Britton Strange has been fantastic. I mean, his level of blocking, and look, I'm not one, at least I try not to be, one that just, goes crazy over a guy's performance. Mm-hmm. Week in and week out, when you watch Britton Strange block, he's kicking in the ass of really good players. And I'm not joking here. I mean, you talk about premier players. You go back and you watch him against Cleveland, against Myles Garrett. And he's pissing Myles Garrett off because he's blocking him. I'm talking blocking him. And he's doing it every week. You got to find a role for a guy like that.
All right, looking ahead quickly here at the Bears. Montez Sweat, guy you got to definitely have your eye out for in the pass rush. But I saw yesterday Jaquan Brisker, their starting strong safety, not making the trip, at least initially, to London because he's in the concussion protocol. So he could be out this week. So if you're missing your starting strong safety and they've got a decent pass rush, is this a recipe for Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby to slow that pass rush down this week?
I'm a big believer in that. Going into the Colts game, I thought that this offense, when you got an offense where your quarterback is not playing consistently, he's not playing at a high level, you got to lean on the running game. I'm still believing that this team needs to still kind of lean on that running game a little bit just because it's going to help the quarterback, number one, and number two, it's going to give the offense the ability to get big plays with play action. I still think that they have to lean on that. If you put more or too much on Trevor's shoulders, I don't. Can he handle it? I don't know. Maybe he can. But with a real good pass rush, why? Why even go with that approach? Lean on the running game, establish the run, and then I don't want to say minimize the quarterback's role, but lean less on the quarterback and be a little bit more patient with the offense and the running game.
Have you seen much? I don't know if you've been able to watch any film on Caleb Williams yet. What is your impression?
I've watched more on TV and highlights and stuff, and I know the last 2 games, looking at him statistically, he's played very well. The one part, I watched him in one game early on film, and he was very impatient, and that's probably a big part of just the inexperience, but things are settling down with him, and look, things seem to settle down for a lot of quarterbacks when they play the Carolina Panthers. So I don't want to overstate how much progress he's made over the last 2 weeks. But I mean, look, there's no question that he's an outstanding talent. I mean, what he was able to do at SC and to watch what he does athletically at extending plays and his ability to throw the ball from all angles. Our pass rush, if we're not better this week than as far as what we've been collectively in 5 games, he will have success. We've got to be better.
He's got really good weapons as well. And we talked about a lot in the first hour about how the Jaguars secondary is struggling for a variety of reasons. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, even Cole Kmet. I mean, these are all guys that are good to really good NFL players. Don't say only a rookie, but he's got the profile of a guy who's going to be really good as well. So how do you feel about the Jaguars' chances in this matchup?
Well, I'm probably not great, and here's why. You've won one game, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a long trip. There's a lot going on this week. The Bears are feeling good about themselves. Jaguars are feeling good about themselves, too. And when I say I don't feel great about it, from the standpoint of the chances, I'm putting it at 50-50. You, as a team, you've got more experience going over to play in London. But the reality is you're a 1-4 football team going to play a team that has a better record than you, that feels like the arrow is pointing up for their football team. So I think it's going to be a tough ask.
I'd rather have the Patriots first and the Bears second.
I'm with you.
Get in there, get that dub, and acclimate yourself, and have a little extra momentum going into that. Because if you can't beat the Patriots, I mean, you think the narrative is bad around the Jags the first 4 weeks.
You kind of would have thought the same thing about Cleveland Browns, too.
You would. I think the Patriots are on an even lower level right now at the moment, but who's to say? We'll find out in due time. Worry about the Bears first.
The Chicago Bears feeling really good about themselves after a win against Carolina, thinking that, oh, yeah, we're a really good team. We just beat this team, thrashed them. Carolina's not a good football team, so I hope the Bears are a little bit overinflated in their ego.
All right, let's welcome in Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
All right, Mia O'Brien, happy Victory Tuesday. We're going to milk it for all we can.
Let's do it.
Here, we haven't had many to celebrate. What will the Heels be getting into today?
We will be getting into a whole heck of a lot. We're really going to span the wide world of sports. Will Parkinson from the Turn on the Jets podcast going to join us at 12:18. He's in the building. He has all the very latest on the firing of once upon a time Jaguars linebacker coach turned Jets head coach Robert Saleh this morning. We also will catch up with Luke Hetrick of WSB TV live from Georgia Tech availability to check in on not only the Yellow Jackets but also the Dogs, because we are officially 0 days since a Georgia player has been arrested. So the very latest from up there in the Peach State, and a whole lot from the Jags world as well.
Yeah.
And maybe the ugliest story of all, the Georgia arrest, at least the early stuff that came out on it.
Yeah,
so.
It's one of those things where we had, our rundown kind of planned. Taylor Dahl is off on vacation. She did make it back late last night from Chicago ahead of the storm, so we're very happy she's back. She will be back on the air tomorrow. But Lauren and I, we had the rundown planned, and once I saw that news, Tony, I was like, we probably got to call somebody in from Georgia because it's one thing, like once, and I understand that there's been different arrests, and I know you Georgia fans out there are rolling your eyes right now, but look, once is an anomaly. When you have a string of arrests across various charges, that has to call into question where the accountability lies within the program, does it not?
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think.
And it's okay. The series is going to shift over to Kansas City, and the good vibes are going to flow.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. We're no worse off than anybody else.
Look, I mean, it's we saw a Jaguars offense that was anemic for a couple of weeks there, and it found its stride on Sunday, so maybe we could say the same for the Yankees bats.
All right, Mia, have a great show.
Thank you.
Helmets and Heels coming your way next. Logs, what's the schedule like for you? I know things a little maybe up in the air. I knew that coffee was going. I knew that coffee was going as soon as I saw it come in here, that it was not making it.
That's going to be a fun race.
So, anywho.
A lot of uncertainty. I know that our Jaguars All Access TV show, we were trying to move it to Tuesday, but then just canceled just with the storm situation going on. And the station's desire, obviously, to keep the citizens of Jacksonville informed.
Yeah.
And we're up in the air exactly on Happy Hour and the Coaches Show. But I think we're still planning on having that Thursday. As far as recorded, probably.
Right. Well,
we'll see.
Safe travels,
to you, and
regardless of when those travels happen.
Yeah, and also everybody stay safe.
No doubt. We'll talk to you. You'll be in London next week then, right?
Yeah, I will.
So we'll somehow work it out with you.
Yeah, we'll call or
those phones work transatlantic now.
I talked with Richie too that we can do what's that little computer app? Opal, yeah. So maybe we'll
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get it.
We'll figure it out. It's all at the feet of Dylan Denmark at this point to work out the technical details. All right, that'll do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in to a Check the Tape Tuesday. John Ogier will be along tomorrow as we continue to battle through the week. Jags looking to get their second win in a row coming up in London on Sunday. For Jeff Lageman, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Stick around. Helmets and Heels coming up next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.